Hi, it's Danny, and today I wanted to film for you guys 15 facts about me, because I feel like you don't really know much about me, so I thought I'd share a little bit about me that isn't beauty related. So I will just get straight into it, I think. It kind of turned out to be like a 15 embarrassing stories about me tag, so we'll see how it goes. So number one, I have two sisters. I'll insert pictures of them here. They are beautiful, as you can see. I get along with my sisters so well, like they're like my best friends. I don't think we've ever really had a fallout or anything. I mean, obviously we used to bicker like as kids, but we've never had like a proper falling out, so that's cool. Every time we go on like family holidays and stuff, it's always really fun. I have been at uni for 5 years. And that is because I went to uni to do art in Southampton, and then halfway through my second year, I dropped out. I hated it from day one. My course was just, I just absolutely hated it. I liked the people and I liked like going out and I had a really fun time, but I just couldn't get on board with the course. It was so not for me. It was just, yeah, awful. So I dropped out halfway through second year, and then I reapplied and saved money over summer so that I could start again that year. So yeah, that was pretty intense. That was actually really scary, trying to tell my family that I was dropping out of uni. So stressful. So yeah, now I study English, by the way, at Queen Mary University. Woo! I'm in my final year. I am failing currently. My dissertation is late. Go me. Number 3, I am nearing my YouTube expiry date, even though I have only just started. I am 24 in October. Number 4, I am pansexual. I have been with my girlfriend for nearly 4 years, 4 years in August. She's amazing. I love her. Yeah, so not really much else to say about that. Number 5, I live with just my dad. My parents split up when I was about 13, and I lived with my mum for a few years, but then when I moved back from uni, it was just more convenient for me to live with my dad, so it's just me and him, and honestly, it's like living with a student. He just is like, honestly, it's like living with a student. We're both as like lazy and messy as each other, and yeah. No rules either. I once convinced my sister to let me cut her hair. As you can imagine, it was disastrous. I am not a hairdresser. I really fancied myself as a hairdresser when I was younger. I used to cut my sister's Barbie's hair. I cut my own fringe, which was also disastrous because I pulled it down like this and cut it, and then it pinged back up and it was like up to here. So yeah, cutting my sister's hair was not one of my best decisions. I thought I'd got away with it. I spent ages like cutting into it and like feathering it, and then we went out to dinner with my family, and I must have been about 15 and she must have been about 13, maybe a bit older, and my mum just like looked across the table, was like, "Ria, what have you done to your hair?" And we just went silent. We just sat there. I was staring at my dinner plate like, oh God. My mum started shouting at her and was like, "I can't believe you've cut your hair." And Ria was like, "Danny done it." And I was like, no. It was not good. She was not happy. So yeah, I learnt my lesson from that one, and I have not cut anybody's hair since. 7. This is gonna make me sound like the biggest weirdo in the world. When I was about 16, I once accidentally flashed a 7-year-old girl. Basically, the story is, I came home from school and my mum didn't tell me that my stepsister had a friend round for the evening. So I went upstairs to go for a wee, and I didn't... Okay, so I do sound weird anyway. I'm gonna sound weird anyway because, let's face it, I am probably a bit weird. I went for a wee, and then my room was not that far away from the toilet, so I was just kind of like, there's no point pulling up my trousers because I'm only going to get changed when I get to my room anyway. So I did pull my knickers up. I pulled my knickers up and I walked over to the door. I'd taken off a belt that I'd had on my jeans, and I'd wrapped it around my hand, and I shuffled over to the door with my trousers around my legs. I had like kind of a long jumper on. And then when I opened the bathroom door, I was confronted with this child that I didn't know. There was literally this like 7-year-old kid just standing outside the bathroom door, and I'm standing there with my trousers down and a belt wrapped around my fist. It was literally humiliating. And then my stepsister came over and she was like, "Hi." And I was just like, "Hi." And then I think I said, "What's your name?" And the girl said her name, and I was like, "I'm Denny." And then I thought, I can't let them know that I was embarrassed, because then it would just seem even more weird. Like, if I acknowledged that it was weird, it was going to be even more weird. So I just pretended like it was completely normal. And I was just like, "Okay, see you later," and like turned and shuffled up the corridor to my room. But my room, because my trousers were like restricting my legs, and this kid was standing behind me, and I had to shuffle with like my bum just like poking out from underneath this jumper, and it took like 10 seconds for me to get up the corridor, and I was just like, I could feel their eyes on my back, and I heard my stepsister like, "She doesn't normally do that." And I was just like, oh God. I got in my room and shut my door, and I was just like, why? Why me? So embarrassed. I wear platform shoes every day of my life. Every single day of my life. If I don't wear them, I just feel weird. I feel so low to the ground. Hang on, I will show you them. They are in my other video. I'm going to show you them like this right now. These. I literally wear these every day, and people comment on them every day. Sometimes people are like, especially men, I always get men who are like, "I used to have those back in the 70s. I'm like, okay. Fact number 9. I once flooded the bath so badly that it seeped through the wall into the room next door, and through the ceiling, through the floor into the ceiling downstairs. So my bathroom was above my mum's room. And she was out when it happened. And I tried to hide it, so I like got loads of towels, and I just like basically wiped the water that was like coming through the ceiling. And then I put towels down in the room next door to the bathroom, and I was just like, she'll never know, she's never gonna know. Put the towels like immediately in the wash, and then one day my mum was like, "Has someone flooded to the bathroom?" I was like, oh shit. Yeah, it turns out we got like this huge damp like mould patch in the ceiling above the bathroom because I flooded it. So don't have a phone call when you're running a bath, because that's what happens, kids. 10. I have hung out with Mumford and Sons. Just take a moment to absorb that. Before they were famous, this makes me sound so hipster, but before they were famous, I was in love with them, like absolutely obsessively in love with them. I went to see them, I don't know, like 4 times. And the first time I went to see them, people didn't really know them, and no one knew like the song lyrics, and me and my friend went, and we were like singing right up the front, and people were like looking at us because we knew the words. And then we made friends with this couple who are amazing, and the girl's brother and this guy called Paul. Hi Paul, if you're watching. And we all hung out with Mumford and Sons after the gig in their van that they had decked out like a hippie van. It was just amazing. We were drinking in the back of the van, sharing cigarettes. It was great. And they like knew us. So the next time we went to see them, they were like, "Hey," it was cool. It was cool. So fact number 11. I couldn't tell the time until I was about 14. I honestly could not figure out how to tell the time. It baffled me. I just didn't understand, especially like 24-hour clocks. They were just, there was no way I was getting that. But even the clocks with a dial, I still couldn't understand. I just didn't understand, like, the quarter to, or I don't know how it took me so long to learn it, but I remember being like 10, and I think my granddad had got me a watch for my 10th birthday, and it was supposed to be like a big grown-up thing. And I was at primary school, and this girl a couple of years above me came over and was like, oh, what's the time? And I was just like, oh God. And I looked at my watch and I stared at it for a good like 30 seconds, and she was just waiting, looking at me, and then I just looked at her and I was like, and let her look instead, and she was like, if you didn't know how to tell the time, you should have just said so. Such a bitch. I really felt embarrassed. You'd have to make me feel worse. I also used to like hide my homework that was homework about learning how to tell the time. I still have it somewhere in my like old jewellery box that I hid from my parents because I was so scared I was going to get in trouble for not doing my time homework, but I couldn't do it. 12. I don't know if I'm allowed to say this, but I couldn't not include it because it's one of my all-time favourite memories. Me and my sister once dressed up as men and went to egg Anonymous's house. I'm sure most people know who this is anyway, if you know me and you're watching. Yeah. I put on like a hoodie and tracksuit bottoms, and I think I wore a pair of tights over my head like a balaclava, and we drew a mustache onto her, and she had like this big shoulder padded coat. My mum helped us, by the way. My mum's a ledge. And we put a cigarette behind her ear, and yeah, we went and we egged Anonymous's house as revenge. So suck on that. I don't care that it's like unbelievably childish. We were basically children. I am still a child. I would still do it again. Fact number 13. If you can't tell, I love books. I will never own enough books. I buy books probably twice a week, either from charity shops or Waterstones. I filled up the Waterstones card where you get money off because you spent so much money on Waterstones. I love books, and I love an actual book that you can hold in your hands, like not Kindles or any of that. I love books. I love the smell of them. I love them. I love them. And I am studying literature, so that's kind of helpful, because if I didn't like books, I'd be a bit screwed, really. 14. Oh. I once had my drink spiked when I was 17. It was a disastrous night. Very disastrous. I actually ended up I was put in a cab home, I think. People didn't really know that I'd had my drink spiked, because obviously we'd only just been kind of starting to drink at 17, so I don't think people really knew the warning signs. I had 2 drinks and I was crying, shaking, aggressive, like didn't know where I was. I was saying things that were completely out of context. It just sounds like I'm drunk, but I was definitely spiked. I had no memory anyway of the entire night, but flashbacks, which I've kind of pieced together. But I got put in a cab apparently, and I was dropped home, only I didn't make it home, and I actually ended up trying to sleep on someone's driveway, and I tried to break into their caravan. There was a couple who weren't English who lived in the house whose caravan I tried to break into. I don't know where they were from, but all I remember is that they obviously had foreign accents, because when I woke up in the morning and had no recollection of the night before, that's what I remembered, was like the voices. I remembered hearing the voices, but I didn't remember the people, so that just sticks with me. But they took my phone and called my mum, and she came and got me, and the whole thing was just completely ridiculous. I said that my friend, I was crying because my friend was lost, which she wasn't. I said she was lost on the streets. So we went to her house and told her parents, and just everything was just mad. And my mum actually made me walk down and apologise to the people who took me in that night. The next day, it was just so embarrassing and really kind of unfair, because it wasn't really my fault, but it was pretty awful. I can laugh about it now because some of the things that happened are funny, but I told this story once in like a lesson at school. People were sharing like drunken stories, and I shared the I've been spiked story, and thought it was hilarious and I was laughing as I was telling it, and people were just looking at me like, and then I was like, maybe this isn't funny. But yeah, I thought I'd share that with you guys anyway. 15. So this is the final one, and this is kind of a rubbish one, but I think it's funny. Once when I was about 15, I came out of my dance lessons that I used to go to, and I went to go and get in the car with my dad, who was sitting there in the car waiting to pick me up, obviously. And I just walked straight out and just like blindly got into the car, slammed the door shut. I sat there and I was like, you alright? And I looked at the side, and I didn't know this person. I was sitting in somebody else's car. I just strolled over and got in and sat there and been like, alright. So that was awkward, and then I just kind of looked and was like, oh, bye. And I got out, and turns out my dad was in the car behind the one that I got in, and he had witnessed the whole thing, so he obviously found that hilarious. He was like, why did you do that? Obviously I didn't mean to. I didn't think like, oh, this'll be fun, let's fuck shit up. No, it was an accident. So yeah, my next video is probably going to be a lookbook, because that has been requested and it is something that I'd quite like to do. I've got a few new outfits and clothes that I'd like to share with you guys, so that'd be fun. And I have a couple of potential collaborations coming up, so yeah. Thanks for watching and thanks for subscribing. I'm now at like 200 and something subscribers, so I can't believe it. I'm like over the moon, and thanks everyone for entering the giveaway. And also, thank you guys for like congratulating Zoe, who won the giveaway. That's so nice. Like, I didn't even expect any comments on that video, but it's so nice that you guys like congratulated her. So I think my next giveaway will probably be about 500, and I'll make it a good one, a big one and a good one, because this one was kind of small and just an introductory thing. But yeah, I hope you've enjoyed watching, and if you have any video requests or you want to know anything else about me, then as always, just write in the comments below. Yeah, let me know a fact about you or whatever. I hope you have a lovely week, and I will see you next time. Bye!